The fridge almost fell out yesterday. Somebody was here at the time, so at least that gave me somebody to give me a hand with it. Anyways, so gaslighting. What that does to a person, I'm not going to talk much about how to do it because I don't do it and I don't want to know how to do it, but I know when it's being done. Some people do it to people because that's just how they survive in life. That's their game. Sometimes there's an agenda behind it. All right, there we are. And one of the parties in the conversation feels the need to bring up something that is totally unrelated to the conversation, whether it's a conversation about an issue or not. Like your shoes. I mean, of course, it's always something more serious, but I'm just keeping it simple here. So, they need something to point their finger at concerning you. Now, if I talk about a conspiracy that I've had to deal with in life, and how it seems like certain groups, there's a network within certain circles that is apart from all the other circles within circles, because the reason why it's apart is they're there for an agenda. They might even get their jobs for specific agendas. And then they just blacklist people that might be a problem to their agenda. So then they need to hide that they've done it. So, right? And when that starts becoming an issue, then they need to get you out of the way. But if they have to be really careful for whatever reasons, and they can't do whatever, then they might gaslight a person to wage a psychological warfare on. Hold on a second. Anyway. So, like I said before, certain teams have certain playbooks, right? Or let's just put it this way. Each team in the NFL has two playbooks, one offensive and one defensive. Oh, three if you include special teams. Let's just try to keep it simple. It's Marley. I got a headache. So, yeah, I'm realizing I get these headaches when I'm around stupid too long. Seriously. And going back to some of the spiritual stuff I've talked about, I think it is a type of projection and transference that some people fool around with. beyond just verbal shit. So when it's something like, if somebody's not thinking for themselves and you know they can, and when they seem to not care to a level where it disrespects whatever space they're in. You know, aluminum cans laying around, whatever kind of cans they are. They weren't beer cans, okay? But whatever cans, soda cans, water cans, because of this, you know, now they have canned water. Yeah, there's these little telltale signs that kind of let you know where a person might be at in life. Then the next question you have to ask yourself is, this person going to let their lack of whatever spill over into my domain? Then when you start picking stuff up or whatever and you find a chunk of bread, you know, it's not just a pizza crust sitting next to the bedstand kind of thing, or sitting on the coffee table after, you know, having pizza, watching a movie and stuff. And, you know, it's not something small, you know, whatever, right? But after a while, you find one thing and then another thing, and then you notice, you know, some fruit getting like whatever. It's like, I have a hard enough time pulling my own weight and thinking for myself, and making sure I get shit done. To take time out of my day to do that for anyone more than once or twice, you know, it depends on how long you're around a person. You know, I really can't do that. I mean, it'd be nice if I could, but I can't. I mean, I've had to do a lot of hard work just to accumulate what little I have to recover from the last major catastrophes. But my catastrophes aren't as simply explained away as a fire. But I have to deal with that as well right now. So then to be gaslighted and sit there and wonder, is this person doing it for this reason, or are they doing it for that reason? Either way, it's fucked up, and I don't have time for it. But if I knew which reason, I could, if I had to spend the time, I could spend the time and address it based on which one of those two reasons it is. Is it a survival mechanism? Or are you just a dumb shit? I mean, what is it? Or is there an agenda? And have they played this game with a lot of people? Again, even if they've played the game with a lot of people, is it an agenda, or are they just stupid? Basically, what I mean by just stupid is, yeah, it's like drug addicts or alcoholics. They play mind games. They develop certain ways of getting away with shit. Hold on a second. They find means and ways to get more, whatever that more is. Whatever their drug of choice is, they will do whatever it takes to get more. Like I said, is it that? Is it based on just a type of hunting instinct that's drifted into addiction? Yeah, because you study your prey and you develop ways to get your prey. Oh, is it too high? You need a hand? Oh my God. See? He's too short. That probably looked really cool, huh? I'll be right back. So that coupled with when people start off being in the Army, and then later on down the road they say they were in the Navy. You know when stories change slightly for some reason, certain details change that aren't details that would change? Um, hmm. Yep, that headache's coming back thinking about it. Oh, Marley. Marley's being a fucking meanie. Marley. Marley, come here. I'm tired as fuck. What was it? Oh yeah, playbooks. So you could pretty much tell, what's offensive, what's defensive, I guess. Well, not really, not all the time. But there's some offensive playbooks that look like it's a defensive move. And so certain analogies, just simplify a lot of it and don't really put across the complexity of certain things, certain areas, certain facets of it. So, either animal, whether it's drug addict, alcoholic, stupid bird, whatever, or there's an agenda behind it. Both of them try to camouflage themselves as other things. And sometimes they will camouflage themselves, ironically, as the others that look like them, which would be some, nefarious woo-woo. A super soldier, spy assassin that travels to Mars, and was given a choice to be either a super soldier or lunch for the elite the next day. My God. So things get a little tiresome for me at times. And I'm not exploding at people. I'm just letting certain people know that when they're getting to a point, like, try to gently and subtly, but then when I have to say so, they just fucking go completely south and try to turn it into a major fucking full-blown argument. And it's like, all right, fuck it. You've done this 3 or 4 times, man, and then this and then that and then that. And how's it put? When the cat's away, the mice will play. Or in this case, is it the rats? Are they mice or are they rats? Or maybe they're cats. When the dog goes away, the cats will play. I don't know. So, this really kind of bothers me that one thing they all have in common that use gaslighting techniques, and this is part of why I tell people that believe they're being targeted, that, hey, sometimes it's just normal life shit. People do that to one another. And yeah, sometimes it might feel like it's a concerted group effort or a network, but sometimes people just, it's a coincidence. But when that's not even part of the discussion and somebody takes it to certain areas of my life and try to blame it on that, and I'm sitting there like going, hey, dude, there's stuff that's got to be done. Um, if it doesn't get done, things get bad. And yeah. It's, hey, I need to get out of this area because it just drives me nutty. Too many that use certain playbooks in their lives that to do it on American soil either means that you're the drug at whatever, and that's what you've developed, or that's the community you were in, and what some people develop to survive and thrive in that kind of community to get what they wanted, or whatever fed their addiction. But to me, it's a form of sixth generation warfare. And to me, when I see it, one of my first thoughts is, fuck, I wish I had a gun. Honestly, because it's an act of invasion when it's done by another country. And it's something that's very hard to prove, like I've explained the entire time. And like I've just explained, like, hey, it's either this or that. I ain't paranoid. I'm just saying. You know, it's 50-50 paranoia. So yeah, when people make plans and they say you could rely on them and stuff, and then you find out you can't, and it doesn't matter whether they're sober or not. Sometimes what people say they don't care about, what they're not paying attention to, is what they care the most about and what they're paying the most attention to. But in a game of poker, right? A person can't engage in any conversation anywhere near certain things because they're worried that maybe I'll see their response and reaction or whatever as they're talking about it. You guys have watched Lie to Me one too many times. So, yeah, I guess if somebody's worried about being caught in a lie regarding, yeah, it's just fucking insane. But if it's in public and oh god, it's just fucking insane. And then they try to create an explosive situation. And I'm sitting there on screaming, what, you're louder than me right now. Wow. I know what it is sometimes for some of these people. It's because in their addiction or alcoholism or whatever it is, that they had to develop these. Well, what they did is they developed a talent or an instinct, a hereditary gift, whatever it is, um, to be used in a way that isn't healthy for them or others. So what a person has to do is do an inventory and see where they've turned an asset into a deficit, is how some people put it. If you have a deficit of character or something else or whatever, you could look at it like there's an asset somewhere. That deficit in you is nothing more than an asset that has been misapplied somewhere else. Like, if me, I'm good at certain things, and it's probably a good thing that my drug of choice is alcohol, because other types of drugs don't cause you to lose your cognitive abilities as much as booze does. And they keep you awake for long periods of time, or whatever. Heroin, yeah, it knocks you out for a while, I guess, but then when you need to go cop, you're really brainstorming. So with the way I think and everything else, yeah, it's probably a good thing I went to booze to self-medicate. And well, why did I self-medicate? It just shut this down a little bit, and to kill physical pain. Because when this is working on problems and other things, and I'm in extreme amounts of physical pain, both things at the same time get a little overwhelming. And then because of all the heroin addicts, it's hard for me to get painkillers that would even touch the pain. So it's certain types of pain and the levels of pain I've dealt with most of my life. So my body knows how to deal with it. But at some point when I need painkiller, I need a fucking knock you down painkiller. Um, but it's not that way with aspirin. I could take 2 aspirin and my headaches are usually gone. So that's part of the other issue is dealing with certain people that have played these little games. Yeah, it literally gives me a headache. I mean, part of me kind of feels messed up that I can't be around people that are fucked up. I don't mean fucked up as in loaded. I mean just for whatever reasons they're fucked up in the head because of an addiction or some trauma or some shit. But at the same time, it's like I'm realizing, but I can't help them. So, but see, there again, it is, yeah, it's just fucked. I need to relocate because the minute there's any kind of issue or whatever, or something that needs to be discussed, people bring up all this other stuff. And if that's not a fucking issue, then if I talk something about spies and I say, yeah, some people thought I was a spy, sent in the fucking yada yada blah blah. I'm not accusing him or anybody else of being a spy to fucking, but they'll take that and then they'll accuse you of accusing them of being a spy. It's like, where the fuck did you get that from? I was just talking about somebody accusing me of that yesterday or some shit. And, um, what does that have to do with this? So it's, yeah, all right, cool. Friendships put in permanent limbo. I'm going to learn to put certain things in permanent limbo. I don't need to be upset with them or make them a non entity or a mortal enemy or what the fuck ever. They just go in permanent limbo. As far as I'm concerned, they're friend nor enemy, and they could stay that way. Right? I don't believe in the ultimatum of either or. I used to treat people like you're a new person today. You're a different person today than you were yesterday. That didn't work out too well. Gave too many people too many chances to continue to fuck up in my life. Or I allow them to be in my life. So by allowing them in my life and their fuck ups affect me, I guess I allowed it. But then when you need them to not participate in your life and you ask them, hey, I can't let you participate in my life because every time you come over, you trip over something and something break, kind of thing. Or what were you just talking about? What the fuck? Oh, I was just joking. Well, that look on their face, they don't know you were just joking. Um, Oh, well, I don't care what they think. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's like, well, maybe I care what people think. I think the whole thing about not caring what people think, what that means, is be yourself and be honest. Be true to thyself as you are to others. And don't worry so much about what they're going to think. Instead, people use that, I don't care what people think, and you all put on a fucking act. Why are you putting on an act if you don't care what people think? Why are you trying to stir pots if you don't care what people think? Why you get off on the reaction you just caused if you don't care what they think? You just got a reaction out of them. It must come from a thought. Oh, you only care about the thoughts and reactions that you create. What a selfish motherfucker. So people want to play all these little okay, there you go. There's another way to counter and mount a counterattack in the psychological verbal warfare. Change a few memes subtly. All those memes are there, right? They've been there for a while. I don't care what people think. It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. You know that one? That one's caused a lot of problems for a lot of people too. Because then your buddy that says that says, "Oh, don't worry, you worry too much." Your buddy that said that, well, you guys end up sitting in a county jail cell or something together because you worried that what you guys were doing was going to cause the cops or something to get all pissed about something. Oh, don't worry about it. You worry too much, right? This is my uncle's property. He said we can go in there and, whatever. Oh my God. So you end up doing more time, even though it was his great idea. But your buddy that said, "Don't worry about it," it's a local. And it was his uncle's property. But his uncle told him to stay the fuck out of his warehouse and don't bring any more kids over to the property. Or all his friends that he brought over were going to end up sitting in a county jail. Some shit like that, you know? Some weird, twisted, freakazoid shit. Yeah. Man of honor can't put his own blood in jail. So, to punish his nephew or son, he'll put all his friends in jail or some shit. Like something like anger management. Imagine if somebody put you through anger management, but you really didn't have a problem. Remember, that movie? What if something in real life? What if things like that did happen at a time or two to people? I heard that your fuck, are they Christian Scientists or some shit? The L. Ron Hubbard people. I heard that part of their stuff, all that clearing stuff that they do. It was kind of like S programming, attack therapy. What it was designed to do, change behavior. What is changing behavior? What is that called? Programming. For a period of time there, back in Yeah, they called them re-education camps back in the 50s and 60s. Before they called that shit brainwashing, it was called re-education. What is EST programming? It's a form of re-educating a person through attack therapy to modify their behavior. So all that gets boiled down to a nice little word called, or a word that is monad, MONAD. It's designed to modify your behavior, change your behavior. Behavior is based on a set of programming in life. The social norms is a set of programming. Etiquette. Not eating human flesh, I guess, could be even called programming for some, because their culture back in their primitive days ate other tribes or some shit. And they kept doing it up until 100 years ago or something. So they had to be re-educated. So I guess you could say that re-education or programming or whatever, or monad, modifying someone's behavior and all that, can be a good thing at times. Places like cannibalism or pedophilia or rape or, any number of things. Blood vendetta, fucking what the fuck ever. But when it's misapplied and misused, when you're calling a highly intelligent person paranoid schizophrenic, and then they've shown what they're dealing with, and then you get fucking all panicky and shit, and you use what little of power you got, because you guys lay low and you slink around or whatever, because whoever you got you on their fucking leash, doesn't want you to get too high up anywhere, whatever, for whatever reasons, I guess, I don't know. Probably because you couldn't pass any of the background stuff or whatever. So your leash only goes as far as local goes. But you run a tight ship, kind of like Jim Jones and People's Temple did. So I'm assuming that that's the playbook that you're operating on. Yeah, like I said, each team has its own playbook, offensive and defensive. And when you guys go defensive, you sure do cry victim and you point your finger a lot. You go right to victim and your finger comes out. Which is funny because that's how you start your offensive game. But there's subtle difference between their offensive playbook and their defensive playbook. But both their playbooks have the victim play. That's their go-to play. Well, when you've avoided all the shit they've set, all the traps and ambushes that they've set for you, that's their go-to play, because it works a lot, especially if they've practiced it playing victim a lot for whatever reason. Hence back to is this person just acting based on alcoholism, addiction, or whatever, and some of the stuff they picked up through that, and they haven't dealt with it, or do they have some agenda going on somewhere? Come on, think about it. You got a group of people that are good at certain things that you can also keep your thumb on with minimal effort. And then, as long as you don't tell them exactly what you're up to, and you think it's just whatever, and you're the voice in the shadow or some shit, I don't know. The thing you should wonder about the voice in the shadow, however, is this to test you, to see whether or not certain personality to whatever is mixed with whatever, coupled with whatever, is something that needs to be red flagged right when it's spotted. Because they've had more than ample time to change their whatever. They act like they've changed, but really all they did was pull out their super secret playbook. How else do you put all this, right? So yeah, it can be confusing from my end of things, right? Because I'm just me, just going, yeah, it does look familiar. You know, you can't really say it's People's Temple or Jim Jones or even connected in any way to that other than geographically. And I guess maybe some people that played that game that were in People's Temple might have stayed locally and just continued and managed to keep the county under their thumb. You know, how many of the locals that are in any kind of power were part of People's Temple back in the day? Oh, Timothy Stowen. Yeah, look up what Timothy Stowen is doing in Mendocino County when he came back to the area. And why would they put him in that kind of a job? I mean, it's kind of like that. I mean, just it just seems like rubbing salt in a community's wounds, in a sense, unless the people involved in that are involved in that and are involved in that. But what problem would they have with somebody like me then? Because somebody like me is the type of person that would try to prevent something like Jonestown. But I get treated like I'm some mafioso that the local town, good old local innocent town folk are trying to get rid of. You know, like the big time drug kingpin that they can't get any dirt on, so they limit this or getting away there or whatever just to cause a little just like we're just it's like, oh my god, really? This is the kind of stuff you do to people that you can't openly fuck with. So you have to wonder, why can't they openly fuck with? Huh. It's either fear or it's fear. Yeah, it's all fear-based. That's okay. I don't think everybody's out to get me. I mean, that would be paranoid. Just there are quite a few people that they just, I don't know what they do. But then when all their energy goes into one area and all this other stuff, but they can't focus any of that energy into kind of stuff that is basic survival, you have to wonder if they even care about their own life at all, or if they're trying to bring you down to that level and then leave you there as they walk away. I mean, there's a lot of different angles that can be played. I mean, like I said, I don't have time to figure out whether somebody's doing this, that, or the other thing. Like, fuck me, fuck you. See you on the fucking, no, I ain't gonna see you on any rebound kind of thing, you know? So I found a place to rent for a month. Good timing too, because it'll be tonight's the last night I could stay at this particular place, because you can only stay here 14 nights in a 30-day period, and I've hit that limit. That and my budget, I could only really afford 2 more nights. But I'll be at this other place in a couple days, so it's all hunky-dory. It's all... I've gotten exactly what I needed to get this far, and pretty much exactly what I need to get to where I need to be on Sunday. So when other people are doing this gaslighting bullshit to whatever degree, for whatever reason, okay, whatever. Fuck. What was I gonna say about that? I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. My stomach had problems this morning, so yeah, didn't get to bed till late. Got up early. Then having to pay attention to somebody else's whatever. I mean, how do I put it? You know when people intentionally act retarded? But then you wonder if they really are retarded. Yeah, they think it's fucking all cute and shit. But no, they just act, yeah, it's just a fucking play. It's like, and when you see them acting retarded when shit is a bit serious, and it's almost like if you were paranoid, you'd think they were doing it on purpose, you know. But if you know certain games, you know they're doing it on purpose. So if you're not paranoid, but they are playing that game, and you identify the game, does that make you paranoid? Because most people that say somebody's playing that kind of a game are usually just paranoid. It's kind of like alien sightings or UFO sightings. Every now and then somebody really does see a UFO. That's just it. You don't know what it was, but you've seen it, right? But quite often it's just somebody telling a tall tale. Or they did see a UFO because, well, I couldn't identify what kind of plane it was. So to me it was oh no, that'd be a UPO, unidentified plane object. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna start really fucking, people want to be overly friendly or whatever, whether I know them or not, especially from here. It's like, how do I put it? I really don't know how to put it, to be honest. Other than I'm nearly out of here, and I think it's just part of all that one more time kind of thing, something that just reminds you of why you're making certain decisions. Part of it's kind of letting go with love. Like I can let go with love in certain areas, but in other areas, no. I'll let go, and I hope that motherfucker falls off a cliff. Yeah. I don't hope everybody falls off a cliff. I really try not to come across like Mendocino County is just a fucktard nation, because I know it's not all a bunch of fucking idiots, but there are quite a few idiots here, and they've played their game for a few decades, so they're pretty good at it, and everything else, and oh, I should just leave it at that, because even it, whatever it is whatever it is. So I'm just gonna let them deal with their own shit, and I feel I've dealt with what I've had to deal with regarding whatever super secret spy mission I was on. Fuck. It's like I'm sitting there going, "Why are you worried about me? What the fuck are you doing? You're that worried about that about me? Is it because I'm the one that got away? The only one like me that didn't get entrapped for whatever reason? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't do what those others did." Marley, quiet. Yeah, it's like in that movie American Ultra. You got the wise guy, and then you got 17 other tough guys. Right? 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 And, well, there's 17 tough guys, and people know about the tough guys or whatever. And then they see the wise guy. They might think the wise guy is just like the tough guys. But then they might realize, oh shit, but he's a good one. Like, no, I'm not a good one. I'm not a good one of those. I'm not that. I'm something else. Maybe I'm good. I don't know. Am I good? So, with that, I'm outie. Just figured I'd touch base. I need to go eat dinner and relax. Because I don't like it when people stress me out and try to involve me in other things after I made it clear certain areas. Yeah. But it's all under the guise of medical marijuana, kind of thing. Like, I'm cool with that, but whatever, you got a bag of phones from whatever, and did you think that those things were a problem? I mean, somebody gives you a bag of objects like that, and they're telling me they're what? So a person that does that in life gives you a bag of those, and now you're charging them here, and you want me to connect it to my internet. I'm feeling like you're trying to frame me for something, but I'm not paranoid. So I'm going to treat you like you're an idiot and say, hey, do you think that maybe, that's not a good idea? I had to ask this person, hey, where'd you get I thought you lost your, oh yeah, I did, but then I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I'm like, oh, really? Well, where'd they get, oh, that's how they, oh, oh, oh. Well, regardless of whatever, wherever, and however your brain is, whether you're just dumbass and you don't think blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there going, hey man, like when you rob a bank, there's fucking ink packs in the fucking bag of money? I don't like that you brought one of those fucking like bank bags into my apartment and you're gonna open it in here. Wow, thanks a lot, bro. Really, you act like you nothing could touch you. Wow. Whose payroll you on? Or are you just that stupid that you would do that? And then you would buy whatever, include me. Whether you're stupid or not, I need to say something. See, that's why it makes it difficult to say certain things to certain people, because you kind of know they're going to have a bad reaction because of whatever. They think you're disrespecting them, and half the time that's just bullshit. Or they act like they're, oh, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I'm sitting there trying to type in a password and stuff in the motherfucker's phone. It wouldn't connect, but then it wouldn't connect. So I asked him a few questions, and I'm like, "Dude, I thought you said you lost your phone. Whose phone? Where'd this come from?" And that's how I found out about where his bag of whatever electronic shit fucking came from. Well, it's not stolen. I'm like, well, I don't know that. You don't know that. The person you got it from probably doesn't know that, because how would they? And even if none of it is stolen, what you said about that means I don't want that here because of how ink packets work. I'm like, oh, really, guys? How many times have you played this game? I'm telling you, leave me alone. Fuck you, DOJ. Like Joel Oppenheimer said, they never let Durini go. Why did they let you go? What do you mean, why did they let me go? Oh, you're talking about locally. Well, what's a Durini? And how many of them did they entrap or capture, or however you want to put it? And why would they let me go? Why would they, or why would they? Or why would they? Why would they? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know. Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me who it is they? I think Oppenheimer's still alive. He was on Stu Webb's show a year or two ago or some shit. I don't know. They're still trying to fucking do whatever. Turn me into a felon, I guess. I must be a pretty law-abiding citizen if, you know, when you got people that are trying to... Yeah, it's weird. I really don't want to explain how they do it too much. Because it's real simple. Not much of a threat of being exposed or anything, shit like that. A lot of it's deniable. You could just act like you're a foolish dumbass. It's hard for people to stay mad at foolish dumbasses, I guess. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of excuses, a lot of stories, a lot of gaslighting. There's still some of it going on. Oh, well. stay at this spot I'm going to for maybe a month. Hopefully that doesn't turn out to be a mistake. I don't think it will, but you know. It's just sometimes what happens is other people have to deal with a lot of dumb shits, and they get to this point where they're just tired of any stupid shit. So they just lay the law down, and then anytime anything looks like anything stupid like what somebody else was up to, they fucking jump your shit, right? So basically they've drifted into PTSD, paranoia kind of trip. And if it looks like something, they flip the fuck out, right? Post-traumatic, that's what PTSD does. It's really hard to talk to people like that too sometimes, especially when they're telling you not to be paranoid. It's like, hey, I'm not the paranoid one here. You're the one acting on certain thoughts and shit like that. You're not keeping certain thoughts in the place of probability. You're taken into the place where it's happening. You're not asking a question. Hey, is this happening or is that happening? It looks like this, but it also looks like that. What could you explain this here and this and this? If you could explain these things, that'll let me know which thing I should believe. But right now, this is looking this way and that's looking that way, from my observation, which is subject to change based on new information or correct information. Right? So, yeah, I get really, to the point, and I notice that when I'm asking a question, certain people, they start gaslighting me. You know, it's just weird. Don't ask me any questions. Oh, then I don't need to be around you. Yeah, if I have to request something 3 times or some shit, and then I have to start doing what was requested of them, it's time for me to just sever ties. Because, yeah, that tells me that they don't care, right? The only person that you let get away with that shit's your kid when they promise to take the trash out, right? And they forget because it's early in the morning and they don't like waking up that early and they gotta rush off to school. So they get lazy or whatever, and they do forget. But they forget because they're late. Anyways, it's a little different when it's your kid that forgets to take the trash out, right? But when it's a grown man and all this other shit, it's like, wow. Kidoki. So, catch y'all later. Y'all have a good afternoon. I'm gonna go eat something. Get some relaxation time.